This is the Genesis story of the gateway adopter concept, the first people to adopt and prove new concepts in any market. The biggest challenge for launching new breakthrough concepts in a nascent market is understanding how to get market fit. The feedback's often really noisy and hard to figure out from all over. It's contradictory, misleading, confusing, and teams' reaction ends up often killing them. That's why new projects have a 90% failure rate. They engage the people that are just easy. They have a hard time having a really good debate because they don't have good data, just opinions. They make a decision that they know more than their customers do, and in the end, they just forge ahead and often have a hard time correcting because since it was an ego-driven decision, people are people. Sometimes with lean, they just go faster and hope that they can learn. Why is this? The root cause is they're just engaging the wrong people. In startups, they're talking to early adopters and they love everything, so they're enthusiastic. In the end, it's misleading because they love it. They tell them lots of good actionable feedback, giving them the comfort and that they're doing the right things, but it's just not an indicator of where the mass market is going. The mass market, it's also misleading because they get tons of scattershot, noisy priorities, in fact, low priorities. Just they need lots of things. And in the end, most of the market, the backside of the market, will not adopt a new concept. It has to be proven first earlier in the process. And often in enterprises, the bosses and the sales team just give you people to talk to, and they have wrong roles, they have different roles, they have conflicting roles, and even when they talk to consumers, again, the same issue is they're not picked because they're the new market or the segment that's going to buy, they're picked because of existing relationships. So, at the launch of a new project, I decided that I had to solve this. We're making a huge high-risk shift, doing another V1, where we're changing the strategy of the Microsoft Office suite, going after a market that was 3 times bigger than the existing market we'd gone after, and we were changing the product from a non-differentiating solution to a company's issues to one that could help them differentiate. So it was a big issue. It was a V1, so there wasn't something in the market. There wasn't a common cloud app platform. So we needed the indicators so that we could engage the people who led the market. Went out and looked for those indicators to see if make it easy for us to filter, and there really wasn't anything proven. There were lots of conjecture, lots of colloquial experience, but data shows and science shows that's not very accurate and often misleading. We went and solved this problem and were able to figure out who to engage. With good, precise data and feedback, we were able to create the first team ever Inspired brought a product planner there. We engaged the market leaders across 6 roles with vision teams that each had gateway adopters on it. They gave us precise, detailed feedback on what we needed. And we succeeded in that we launched. We were considered the most valuable new capability across the entire Office and SharePoint suite. Our partners voted it as such, and when Satya Nadella became the CEO of Microsoft, he assessed that as our most strategically valuable API. We did that in a third of the time that the original project was scheduled to become compelling. We were compelling out of the box, saving millions. So how did this happen? At the time of the genesis of the idea of this common cloud API for Office, I had 15 years launching 8 or more than 8 V1s into nascent markets. Then this at startups and enterprises. And I knew and had scar tissue from finding the right customers and getting in conversations and making the errors that I've outlined, talking to the wrong people and getting the wrong feedback. So I knew I needed a good, solid, valid, reliable way to determine what would be compelling to get people to use Office for this in this new way. So also I understood the concept of the adoption curve and how it's not just a market measure, it's a psychographic measure of people. Also had seen and done research on clinical psychologists and how they look at and understand how people are feeling, how they understand different pathologies and make decisions about medications. And I had also learned from that it often took decades of hardcore research to come up with a confident model. So the goal for the new project was to make sure we were talking to the market leaders, not the noisy front of the curve, not the late and middle of the curve, which would give us lots of information that would never actually be something that was compelling for the real first adopters and users and provers. With that goal, we needed that reliable, proven qualifier for in or out. We had to know what the questions and answers would be to help us reach the people who are going to give us good feedback and guidance on our vision before we made big investments. Again, understanding the challenge behind it, we were able to do the work and plan out step 7 V2. So since there wasn't any proven qualifiers, we knew that we had to develop these reliable indicators that help us filter in and out. We set up and planned a sequence of qualitative and quantitative interviews to determine what were possible models and then make sure we could confirm which one was going to be the best one. Across several products, I did hundreds of interviews and developed 3 possible data models in talking to CFOs and CTOs and project decision makers, and came up with lots of great stories for how they make tough decisions. We turned that into a very complex, multi-branched quantitative analysis, which was across 1,300 people and had over 3,800 projects involved with over 200,000 hard decisions people made when it came to what that project did. So then turned that into a complex big data analytics effort using Shapley value game theory and Kano to determine if we could validate one of the models. We were successful and found the accurate indicators that helped us figure out where people were on the adoption curve, and more importantly, reliable, confident indicators for the people who lead the market, because they had a unique combination of 3 characteristics: their desires and goals, skills and techniques. That combination may have scattered in 1 or 2 items, but only this group had a combination of all 3. And also because we asked what they did, we got a big unexpected jackpot. We knew how they succeeded because we could look at how they managed these high-risk projects to repeatedly succeed. So we found their secrets. We applied the insights to this project, and we engaged gateway adopters across multiple roles so we could help the team engage with the market, understand what was needed, what was not needed, and what needed to be gold-plated to be compelling. We also helped the team emulate gateway adopters and mimic their behaviors by mitigating the biggest risks in sequence before we moved on to bigger investment. And again, landed what was considered the most strategic API. Harvesting this information across the market, we now knew how to emulate the proven principles of people who continually succeed at disrupting markets. We generalized on over 10 projects in new offerings and over 15 different personas, from consumers to technical writers to developers to creatives, and enterprise and startups. And when combined with other insights about how they behave and what definition of compelling, been able to cut time to market typically by 75%. So, thanks. Contact us. And obviously, when I do this, I'll have better lighting, maybe better sound, and refine the graphics and condense it.